Good day all. Continuing with our class on area and space planning. We want to be able to use these drawings we have on our screen here now to create our area plans for our projects. So you need to understand that if you have a scheme that have different functions, or even if it's an office complex, that there are different sections in that office complex and they are rentable, you can be able to prepare your area schemes to be able to professionally delineate each sections of that particular project for what you want to use it for, and be able to by just looking at the drawings, one can see graphically the way you have sorted out your areas and placed different functional spaces in certain locations with different colors to graphically represent them. So to begin with, under architecture tab, you will go to room and area, and under room and area you select area and volume computations, and then under this area and volume computation dialog box you will see volume computation. They say volumes are computed at finished spaces, areas only, areas and volumes. For the purpose of what we want to do for this class, we will use areas only. And then you see area, room area computation at wall finish, at wall center, at wall core layer, at wall core center. For the purpose of what we want to do for this class, we will select at wall center. And then under area schemes, by default, we have the gross building area and the rentable building area, like we saw last week when we were trying to do a demo. And then you can also add a new area scheme if you so desire by clicking on this tab here, new. Gives you, calls it area scheme 1. You can decide to give it any specific name that you want, depending on what you want to do. For example, the building the floor plan that we are using for this purpose, it can be a college building that has different departments. I can also call this one area. I can call it architecture. Sorry. I can call it architecture department. And I can just say, okay. Okay, now that we have this, what we need to first of all is to create the area schemes. So we'll go to areas and we'll say we want to create an area plan. Once we say that, it will bring out a dialog box. It's asking us, is it the gross building area that we want to calculate, or the rentable building area, or just for the architecture department? Remember, we created this architecture department here. So for the purpose of what we want to do, let's just select rentable. And let's say we're doing it on level 1 because level 2 is just our roof. It's saying automatically create area boundary lines associated with all external walls. Just say yes. If you look at our drawings here now, you will discover that the boundary lines has been defined. The areas has been defined. If you look at it here, if you're not seeing it on this magnification, you can come here on thin lines. Remove thin lines. Okay, it's thin lines already. Make it bolder, so that you can see it clearly on your screen. Now, I want us to take a closer look at these drawings that we have here. Let us just assume that this is a college building with, let me say, 4 or 5 departments. Let's try to sort it out and create area boundaries for each of the component parts of this particular office block. So I will go to area boundary. And once I select area boundary, I want to pick the walls I want to use to define this area boundary. For here now, these 3 spaces here, I want to call this space administrative office. this particular space here, I will just call this place Department of Estate Management. Here now, I will just call from here to here, Department of Building. Then here, this whole stretch of this place, I can call this place Department of Architecture. I can call this place lecture room, or maybe I can call this place computer room, and I can call this place storage space. So we'll just go ahead and pick the lines and define those spaces. Like here now, I said that I want to define from here to here as one department. So I'll click here and I look at where the boundary is. This is where the boundary is. I select this place again. Then remember, I said that this place, I want this place to be the Department of Building. So I'll select this, and where it stopped is here. I select this place as the boundary. Now this place is our Department of Architecture. So I start here. I'll come here, here, and then here is our lecture hall. I do this. Here's the computer room. I do this, and this place defines the storage space. Sorry. So I'll just make sure that these spaces are properly delineated, like here now. So I will just check it properly, and then I'm done with that. Then I'll go back and I'll select areas. I want to place the areas now. So I select area. I'll click on this one. And then at the left pane here under properties, I will give it a name. Here now, I'll call it administrative area. And then under area type, we have options here. Yeah, building common area, office area, exterior area, floor area, major vertical fenestration, store area. This one is an office area. So I'll select office area for it. I come here again. I click on this one. I'm defining those areas. Under name again, under the properties, I'll come here again. I'll call this one estate management. And under area type is an office type. So I'll still leave it as an office type. Now, here now is the new name here is the new name here is building technology department. And it's an office area. I'll still leave it like that. Now, this place, I select this place, and this place is this place now becomes architecture department. Call it architecture department. It's an office area. I still apply it. Then this particular space, I'll call it lecture hall. Let me just leave it as okay. I will still leave it as okay. Let me just change it to something else. Let me leave it as what will we call this one now? Let's call it just floor area. Then this next one, we'll call it computer room. We'll still leave it as an office area. We'll apply. Then this next space here now, we'll call it janitor storage. Under area type, it is a store area. And then come here again. We select this the circulation space. So here now, under name, we call it common area. Under area type, call it building common area. Okay. Now, to add legends to what we just did now, we'll go to annotate. We'll go to annotate. Under annotate, we'll go to color fill legend. We select color fill legend. Okay. Okay, we'll go back and go through the process again. Go to annotate. Okay. Now, once you click on that, it will bring out a dialog box asking you what are you actually computing. Space type is areas, rentable, that's what we selected. And then we are looking at rentable area. So we say, okay. Once you do that, it will present the spaces and the way you have annotated it in a color scheme with a legend here. You can see those spaces we created the boundaries for, we created areas for them, and then we annotated it properly, and it's giving us exactly what we want. Only that some of the spaces are a little bit mixed up, but this is exactly what you will get at the end of the day. Showing your drawings with your area scheme and with the legend. Now, this legend that we have here, if there's anything that you want to edit, maybe you feel like changing the colors scheme or something. Once you select it under your modify menu, you will see edit scheme. Once you come to edit scheme, each of these components, you can select it based on the graphical method you want for your project, and you start editing it. Like here now, building common area, color, can select this, and I can start manipulating this to give it a different color. Let's just try to do something here. Let's go to office area. Try to change it to something else. Once you apply it and say, okay, you can see that it has changed it to the new scheme that I just adopted now. So please, I would like you to open your systems, and then somebody should raise a hand to demonstrate this process now. Somebody should demonstrate this process for us now. Let's proceed. I want to go through the process again. Please, I want you to pay rapt attention. I want you to pay rapt attention now. First of all, I just wanted us to be able to delineate this floor plan, create our areas, area plan and schedules. You know, you do this most times when you're working on a project, even if it's on a residential building or on an office building. You have different spaces on that particular building, and you want to be able to show them in a legend. You want to be able to delineate them properly, assuming that you're working on a floor plan like this. Our college building, College of Science and Technology building. You take a particular floor plan where you have different departments, different offices, and different classrooms, different laboratories. You want to be able to delineate it properly so that when somebody looks at that drawing, she'll be able to understand what is actually happening there, showing the different departments and the way they are arranged on that your floor plan. So first of all, to begin with, under the architecture tab, I'll go to under rooms and areas. Watch again, under rooms and areas. From architecture tab, under rooms and areas, I selected area and volume computations first. And it brought out a dialog box asking me, do I want to do my volume computations at areas only or areas and volumes? I want to use areas only for this demonstration. And then under room area computation is asking me at wall finish, at wall center, at wall core layer, at wall core center. I want to use at wall center. No, we have done with this volume computation and room area computation. Then I'll go to area schemes. Now, usually there's two default area schemes when you open your software. You have the gross building area and then the rentable building area. If you're working on a massive project or a very complex project, you might decide to create other other area schemes. So for you to do that, just click on new. Once you click on new, you give it a name and then you give it a description. Then you say okay. Now, once you're done with it, the next thing that you need to do is for you to decide how you want to calculate your area volumes. So first of all, you go under area, under this room area again, go to under area, and you select area plan. That's what you want to do. And it will bring out a dialog box. Actually, what do you actually want to do? Is it on level 1 or level 2? This little sketch that we have here, level 1 is the floor plan, level 2 is the roof beam level. And now asking us what type of area plan do you want to compute? Is it the rentable, or is it the whole gross building area, or is it any of those ones you added? If you add anyone here, when we are under area and volume computation, you will see it here if you added any here, but we are working with level 1. Select level 1 and we say okay. It says automatically create area boundary lines associated with all external walls. You said yes. You can see from your property browser, your project browser, you can see he has created already an area plan here called rentable below your elevation on the left pane on your project browser. He has created an area plans rentable. Okay, we proceed. Now, once we decide that we want to create our area plans, it will simply create the boundaries of that your floor plan, the footprint of that building. It will create a boundary around that your floor plan. Then internally, it is your responsibility to now decide how you want to share those spaces among the different functions that are supposed to take place there. So for us to do that, we go to area boundary. We want to set the boundaries for each of these elements. And to create our area boundaries, I want us to pick the walls. So I'll select pick lines. So we select this to define that space. And then we select this. And then I want this space to be estate management. I click here to define this particular space. I didn't click on these inner walls because they are part of the same estate management department. This one, I want to use this space as my admin department. Now for the building department, I want it to be this here. So I create my boundary here for this building department that I have here. I want these sections to be for architecture. So I select here to create the boundary. Remember that the external boundaries has already been created. I want this place to be like the lecture room. So I'll click on this line and I click on this one. To define this space I want to use as my computer room, I click on this one to define this space. This particular space has already been defined by this building department and this particular computer room and my lecture hall that is here. So for this particular space, I will click here again. If I click here again, it will give me a dialog box telling me that this that this particular line is overlapping on each other. So I can go ahead and select pick lines, and I'll just come here and do this. So once I'm done, I escape. Then the next thing I have to do is to create those areas that I have set these boundaries for. So I'll select area. The first one we did, we selected area plan. But now we are saying is the actual area that we want to create now. So I select area. Once I place my cursor inside this, that boundary that I have set, it defines that boundary and gives it a small faint color. You can see that now. Then on the left panel here, under my property browser, it gives me an opportunity to add some parameters, some identity data to these areas that I'm creating. So this particular one now, I'll call it admin office. And since it's an office, the area type under here is an office area. Done that, click on apply. Then I come back. This place is supposed to be the estate management department. So once I'm inside this place, I'll click. It defines it based on those boundaries that I set. So once I did that, I'll still come here and now give it the name I want it to be. This is estate management. And then it's an office area. You can see that as I give it a name here, okay. I think I need to go back because I need to go ahead and edit some of these notations. Like it gives the notations before I do the placement. Like now, this was supposed to be the building technology, but it's calling it estate management because of the tag that I gave here. So I'll simply come here and change it to building. It's an office area. So let's just go ahead and do it. Maybe after we can go ahead and edit it. You can come back here and even come to this one. This one is supposed to be the office area. I can edit it from here. Sorry, admin area. This one is calling admin area here is my estate management. This one is calling estate management here is building technology. Okay. We proceed. I'll go ahead and select that area again to complete the other ones. As I'm already carrying it, it's carrying the last one I did. That is a building department. But that's not what I want. I want it to be architecture department. So I change it. It's an office area. I apply it, place it. Don't know why it's giving us, it's mixing the names together, but you saw how we were able to edit it. This architecture department is still an office area. So I'll just click on this. This is supposed to be, I will change it later. It's supposed to be, okay, I'll leave them as office areas. This one is a computer room, and this one is a storage space. Now that I have placed all of them, I can go ahead and edit it to suit what I want. Like this one now, this is architecture department. This one is lecture hall. And this is computer room. This is a general store. And I will come to this place. I will select it, and then Okay, to conclude, we can proceed now to conclude. So after succeeding to create our area boundaries, create our areas and add information, add parameters to it, we can now go ahead and create a legend for this area that we created. But I'd like you to observe that as you are creating those area boundaries, it's giving you the floor area of that particular units you created boundaries for, those particular spaces you created boundaries for. It gives you the total area. You can say that he has given us the total area for the admin area. He has given us the total area for the estate management. He has given us the total area for the building technology. He has given us a total area for the architecture department, for the lecture hall, for the computer room, and for the general store. He has given us the specific areas of those spaces. Now, to add additional information to it, to create schedules for these area plans that we just created, we just go to under your file menu, you go to annotate. You go to annotate, and then under annotate, you go to color fill, and under color fill, you select color fill legend, like this. And you just select where you want to place it. For example, assuming I want to place it here, I'll just click, and the next thing, it brings us a dialog box. And in that dialog box, it's asking me what kind of spaces do you want to create. It's a rentable area, that the one we set earlier. Remember that you had the opportunity of creating more area schemes. So this is one of the area schemes, rentable, that is already by default in the software. But you can as well add more area schemes. If you had added more, you will see them under these space types. And then the color scheme, we wanted to use the rentable area and not the gross floor area. So we'll just click OK. You can see that here now, he has created a legend called rentable area legend, which we can always edit. For example, if we click on this legend, we can go straight to edit scheme. Then this building common area and office area that came in these colors on our legend, we can decide to change it here. Under common area, I can decide to change it to maybe something like this color. And then under office area, we can change it to something like this, just to create a contrast. You can apply. And then we are seeing what we just did now. And now, remember when we did this earlier, this particular space, we created this space as a common area, the circulation area. Let's just go back and try something now. Let's go to those areas and now want to create an area for it. Let's see how it will respond. You can see that as I selected this particular place now, by default, it's calling it building department, but that's not what it is. This place is, you can open up this place and call it look for a name for it. You can call it common. You can call it common. And then in terms of area type, It's a building common area. Let's see what happens to it now if we apply these changes. Call it common. Just try to highlight it. Okay, that goes about creating area plans.